Do you know what it is? I feel like that's I don't know, maybe I might be going off here, but I just feel like in life sometimes not everyone gets treated the same. Like, that's just how it goes. And that's why I just don't take shit personally.
Are you saying that you can service 3 of these women?
No.
You can give them attention that they desire.
No,
times 3.
But that's different though, because the attention they desire is different to what you want to give.
And he's saying he can't give
what
they would want from him.
No, he's saying he can't give it. I don't know if he's saying he can't give what
in my head, he's also factoring in what they would need.
I don't know what
each of their needs.
I'm just saying.
Hence the multiple women.
Keith's just saying what I have from Keith is that if I like 3 women exactly the same way, I can't give them my full energy.
There's a certain level of care that is necessary to, sustain each and every person. And for me as one person, I couldn't give that to 3 people.
You could, but even as it could be one babe you can't give it to.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying.
Because what she desires from you might be...
One is even difficult for him sometimes. Because
let alone 3. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like...
What about 4?
The majority. But I couldn't even do 2.
No, I hear that. Yeah, I hear that. I'm the same.
Yeah, and that's what it is for a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of men genuinely believe they can, but when you kind of get into that situation, it becomes more difficult. The reality is not as pretty as,
I just think
the desire.
I just think it depends on what capacity you have for these people. That's what I think it is. Because same way in a week, for example,
you still need to abide by that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because in a week you can go to the gym 4 times, you could play football once, and play tennis once.
Yeah, but if
Do
you're,
you know what I'm saying? You still like all 3 activities. You just care about gym more. Is it recording?
Yeah.
No, I'm blessed.
No. Oh, yeah, we just cut it out. A bit more of a philosophical question away from aliens, Brent. It's something that has been plaguing me.
This is not a philosophical question, I know already. I know Keith already. It's going to be one second, let me get this sound effect. Go ahead.
It's a philosophical question.
Not going to be philosophical, I know already. Go ahead, that's fine.
If your sighting dies, are you allowed to mourn?
Sorry, if your sighting dies, and then I heard Arabic afterwards.
No, are you
allowed to mourn?
Yeah, to who though?
Within yourself.
Yeah, of course you can be sad.
So can you come home and be just bare sad in your crib?
Yeah, just tell someone close to you died. Who?
So you could come into your family home and just bare sad. Or is this something you do in your private, around your family, you just have to be happy and happy-go-lucky. You cannot bring that sadness into your home.
You definitely can. Do you believe you
But don't you think that's disrespectful for you to bring that sadness into your home?
Yeah, but someone's died that you're close with.
Someone you shouldn't be close with.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not even here nor there because it's happened now.
How are they going to know who you're mourning for?
Exactly.
Why you're mourning?
No, I'm saying it's just within yourself. You know that I've disrespected my family by coming in this home being sad about someone I have killed.
Let me get this straight. So before the person died, you were cheating anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you've already been taking the piss.
Yes, but don't come and disrespect me by being sad in my home about some shit like that. What is that?
Yeah, but do you believe you can love more than one person at the same time?
Yes. I can dislike multiple people.
Exactly. No, but dislike is different to love.
Sorry. I like what you've said. So you're saying, yes, you can love multiple people because you can dislike multiple people.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same. Because it's easier to hate than it is to love.
I didn't say it was easy. I said it was doable.
No, hating is calm. To hate someone is calm.
But you know what I mean? Those are all emotions that we experience. You know what I mean?
But love is a certain vulnerability and a certain level of letting somebody in.
Okay, do you believe I can love different people at different times?
What type of love are we talking? Because of course you can have family
I'm
friends
talking about
different loves
the love,
romantic love.
Romantic love.
Okay.
Because you think about it, I don't have romantic love for just one person throughout my whole entire life.
Yeah,
I can love one person, stop loving that person, and then love someone else.
Yeah, but that's different. That's loving according to circumstance. But also, there are some people that you will love your whole life. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, so now you love 2 people.
Yeah, but you can. I didn't say you couldn't love 2 people. But I guarantee there's something that you might love that person differently to that person.
So I feel like there's romantic love where, you love someone and then things happen that, push you people apart and that love exists and then now you're with somebody else. And you then love that person, and because of how monogamy, has been taught to us, you now focus on this one person. So I personally do believe you can love more than one person. It's just frowned upon.
Can you love more than one person the same way?
Yeah, but I believe you can.
Yes.
I think you can love people. The question that you've raised is sick because people say you can't love more than one person, but you can because you can love your mum, you can love your missus. It's different love, innit? You can love your son, daughter, whatever. It's a different love. But romantic love, what is it? There's romantic love, there's self-love, platonic love, unconditional love. What was it? Is it agape?
Mm-hmm.
Storge. That's alright, so agape love is a decision to spread love in any circumstance, including destructive situations. It is not a physical act, it's a feeling.
Yeah. So with love, like, why can I not feel that for multiple people?
Storage love also describes the love that siblings feel towards each other and the love felt by even more distant kin relationships, such as grandparents.
Do you both of you believe in monogamy?
I hope so. What's monogamy in terms of me with me being with one partner?
Yeah.
My whole, like, as in.
Don't say whole life. It's just at each time.
Oh, at a time.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We don't
serial monogamy, but I definitely do believe monogamy is unnatural. But I also believe...
You think it's unnatural? Seriously?
Yeah, monogamy is unnatural. But I also believe it is probably one of the better ways for human beings to live.
But why is it? Why would you say it's unnatural?
Everything you do, everything that we do and how men live points to the fact that it's unnatural.
Explain.
Yeah, explain that, please, because I
have no problem with what you're saying. I just would like more.
You one of those people.
We're not wired. We're not wired to, like, as men, essentially, or I should say as human beings, essentially, we're just not wired to be with one person.
No, but we ain't saying. We hear what you're saying, but what is your reason or rationale to say that?
Because one could argue or push back to say it's all about this archaic patriarchal system that we have been enforced and we perpetuate over the years, right? It has been because we, the dominant gender, has made it that way. But I would like you to basically push back.
Because there's a point in time when there's certain civilizations or there's certain people that it's the opposite, whereas women are the ones that have multiple partners.
Yeah, but I'm not saying...
And the men don't. So it depends on how you see it. Because I've heard men say the whole lock analogy
No. So for me, I'm not
saying you're saying that. I'm just saying you've heard that analogy, innit? Where like men are keys and we open many doors. Women are locks. So like what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or men can, because of our seed, we can impregnate this amount of women, this amount of times. Whereas women have a certain amount of eggs, which shows you the balance. But like that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to gauge what is your rationale like.
It's just, if we were to just look at how people live their day-to-day, their attraction to multiple people at any given time.
Yeah, but that could be, isn't that social media and this new age of like, because think about this, yeah.
But it's been like that long before social media.
No, but not like this, Keith, as in like, for example, when our parents were growing up or even before that, like, remember, I can't remember.
Bro, you're talking about people's generations where their granddads had 4 different families.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm saying, but remember, in terms of certain cultures, like in terms of Nigeria or Yoruba culture, whatever, you can have, or Muslims over there, you can have more than one wife. It's not a problem. Like, I'll guarantee you, if the society here allowed men to have more than one wife and it wasn't frowned upon, most people would have more than one wife. But over here, it's frowned upon, so people don't do it. People want to do it, but they think,
Isn't he agreeing with me, bro?
No, I'm not agreeing with you.
You are.
I'm not agreeing with him. I'm just saying that in terms of, because I'm asking you your rationale for why you believe that. You're saying that it's always been like that. I'm like, not technically it hasn't, because now we've got so much exposure to people. Like I can go on my phone and I'm seeing girls in America, Sweden, Norway on my phone. I can actually say I'm flying into Norway tomorrow. What are you doing? Whereas before you couldn't. You had to go to Norway
But
to
if you
see
weren't
people.
wired that way, you know what I mean, the prevalence of social media wouldn't change anything. If you're not wired to want more than one woman, you know what I mean, you would have access. You would now have access to all of these women that you see that you're not interested in.
Nah, I hear what you're saying, but I feel like there's self-control and the discipline and whatever. That's like, I don't want to talk about fat people, but generally speaking, like it's like someone saying because Deliveroo and Uber Eats is here, we've all been wired to just eat as much as we want, because no, like it makes it easier for you to get food now.
The self-control and discipline thing you just mentioned, is that something that is innate or is it taught?
I think it's a bit of both. It is taught, it can be innate, but also it depends on what you're exposed to. So for example, there can be, Eddie Murphy said it, a lot of men are as faithful as their options. If you've got no options, you're hella faithful. I've got to stay with you. No one's interested. If 25 women are knocking on my door, are you going to be the same faithful man? You might be. Or you might crumble because number 24 is the buffest woman you've seen in your life. So what I'm trying to say to you is nowadays, because there's this I don't know, this vacuum of just things everywhere, like, and in your mind you believe you've got this choice. Choice. Choice spoils the broth.
Choice has always been there.
Not like it is now.
Now we have just better access to women across the globe.
Even here, Keith, like in the UK, you have better access to like
100%. But I feel like our desire for, you know what I mean, for more than one person has been around as long as time.
I agree, and you agree also, because you could even see that depicted in the Bible.
What the man wanted?
I mean,
man wanted wishes from there.
King Solomon.
Yeah.
David, all of them.
It's just that now, like I said, you know what I mean? I personally believe.
Why do you think it's, as you said, that was the first part you said, right? About monogamy. But why do you believe that monogamy is the best way to live?
In terms of, you know, society now, when you think of, you know, for rearing children, monogamy is, you know, for me, you know, 2-parent homes are a great situation for raising kids. I think that's, you know, we have many studies that support that. You know, you look at guys that will go out there, procreate with multiple women, and they're not present in all of their kids' lives. We see what that looks like. We've seen what happens when, you know, look at STDs. You know, when people go out there and they're, you know, with multiple different people, increases the chances of, you know, getting STDs, you know, fractured societies from, you know, people that just don't hang around when they have kids with people. I feel like there's so many different things along the way that we benefit from monogamy, essentially, and especially in the world that we live in now. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was talking about wanting 2 wives. And I had to ask him, do you have 2 wives money, firstly? Do you have the bandwidth to, you know what I mean, not only physically, because when some people want, you know, multiple wives, most people think of it from a physical standpoint. I get to have sex with 10 women. No, but can you emotionally support 10 women? Most people can't even emotionally support 1 woman. Most people can't emotionally support 1 person. Now you need to have the bandwidth, you know what I mean? So now you're split between 10 different people. So I genuinely believe being with 1 person is the best. You know, most of us would like to say, hey, I would like to have more than 1 woman in my life because, you know, this would be so fun. But I genuinely don't believe a lot of people have the bandwidth to support that. And that's why I believe monogamy is a better way to live for most people, because it, you know, kind of breeds better outcomes. You know what I mean? Maybe there's, you know, certain types of people that can have multiple, you know, partners essentially, or people that can be polygamous or polyamorous, you know what I mean, or whatever it is, and they can support all of those people physically, emotionally, financially, and everywhere there is. But I genuinely believe that the majority of human beings cannot do that, which is why I think monogamy is the best way to live for the majority of people. I may be wrong, but I think for me, that's my opinion, essentially.
You know, I hear what you're saying, but I just feel like it's because of the society and the culture here that's why it is that. Because for example, if you're a woman and you're accepting of another woman being around, then you won't really create issue because you're used to it. Whereas here, women are not used to that. So there'll be an issue with fighting for attention or whatever it is with this man. Do you know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. I think that, yeah, over here, that...
I think everywhere. I think that's
No,
what I'm saying. There's only a few places, or not even places. For me, I feel like it's only certain types of people because, like I said, you know what I mean? If we look at it from the perspective of if women are used to it or whatever, I'm like, there's not many men that can sit there and say, I can equally split myself between 5 different women with fairness. Because that's another thing most people don't think about in those situations. Can you equally love those people?
Yeah,
Can you treat those people with the same kind of fairness?
Keith, I hear what you're saying, but even if you have 3 kids, you're not going to love them equally.
You are.
You're not, because you're going to love your kids differently because they're different people. So I'm saying, in terms of your wives, you're not going to love them the same because they're different people. Like, for example, you can have 5 friends. You don't treat all 5 friends the same. You love them, but you don't treat them all the same because
no,
they're
with
not
your
the
kids,
same.
I genuinely believe you have an equal love for your kids. You know what I mean? Like you said, you will just deal with them and treat them differently.
Exactly, that's my point. So you treat them differently.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
And also, I guarantee you speak to most parents that have loads of kids, brother, they'll be honest with you. That one's my favourite. That one fucking winds me up. I love them, but that's my favourite. Or he never lets me down. Or
and with your kids, you don't choose your kids. With partners, I feel like that's different.
No, but you don't get what I'm saying. I'm saying in terms of the situation and the way it's built up in terms of, because people do this thing here where like, I know within the Muslim religion, they say that you can have more than one wife, but you have to love them equally. Which I get to a degree, but it's like sometimes you can't love equally because love is different. Like, you can't speak to people equally because everyone's relationship is different. Like the way, for example, like the way I'm with Brent, for example, I might know Brent's brother. We might be different, but there's not a problem. But it's just the way I speak to this person, the way I react with this person. So if you've got different wives, you might have one wife who's very nurturing, another wife who's a bit more logical based. There's another wife that might be a bit more. So the way you relate to them is different. That's like someone saying...
But the way you love them should be, you know what I mean, equal.
Yeah, but it can't be because of what you get from them is different. So that love might translate differently to the outside world or even how they are, if that makes sense. Because, for example, like, you've got a brother. I don't know how it is at home. Or even, Brent, I can use you. Your mum and dad, I don't know if they treat you and your siblings exactly the same.
No.
So that's like you saying you don't love us equally. Or...
No, but I'm saying they love you equally.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can't measure the love as how they treat you because they treat you all differently.
No, but within myself, I can sit here and say, I love my mum, I love my siblings, all the same. I just have different relationships with them. But I love them all the same.
I don't think, that's what I'm about. I don't think you do love them all the same because you treat them all differently. I get what you're saying, but I feel like love, like, I don't think you can measure it like as a cup that if I poured my love for my sibling in this cup, it would fill half. If I pour my other love for my sibling, half. I don't think it works like that. I don't see it as that binary. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying, Brent?
I feel like, you know what I mean, you're overcomplicating something simple in terms of, and when I say something simple, I feel like when you're dealing with, you know, multiple people, you know what I mean, you as a human being, you know what I mean, you're split between, you know what I mean, those people. And I think that can then affect your long-term relationships. And even down to, you know, let's bring it down to something as simple as, let's say even if you did have a way of loving all your partners the same, let's say it was something where you could quantify it down to a science.
Yeah.
One of them might have an issue with the other one. Another one might have an issue with another one. So then that becomes an unstable situation. It may not even be unstable because of you. It's unstable because of other elements and other variables, essentially, which is why I feel like, you know, situations with multiple people tend not to work, you know, and they can explode. And I always found that even when you're younger and you're dealing with more than one woman, essentially, you find that there was times when I couldn't even be happy all the time because if this one's happy, this one's not happy. So you know what I mean? Like, I can't be happy because once I've got this person happy, this person's not happy anymore. So I'm never happy. You know what I mean?
That's different.
And there's always me playing.
No, but that's different though, because that's 2 different women around the same time that don't know each other. So it's not the same thing. Like if there was transparency, for example, and they all knew you exist. I mean, I'm seeing you and you. Like even for example, Mike Rashid, he was seeing two women at the same time. And he was like, it was calm. It's like, because these women knew what it was. It's like, he said, the only problem is when you lie to women and you tell them that it's only you and they find out there's someone else. That's when's a problem, because now you told me there was only me. Or if a woman's trying to lie and say that she's fine with it when she's not fine with it, that's when there's an issue. But he says, if when you're honest and open with women and you tell them this is what I want, and you find women that are like have a common goal in terms of the relationship, like even there's an actor, I can't remember his name, man. He's normally a lawyer in films, a black guy with glasses, but he's got a wife, and he lives with his ex-wife and his kids, and the wife was saying, if his ex-wife was in the house, I don't know what I would do, because I gave birth, and because he travels and does work and acts, his ex-wife was here to help me raise the kids, and she was like a support system for me. And if she wasn't here, I don't know what I would do. And the guy was saying, on paper, this thing seems like it's a madness, but if you had asked me 8 years ago or 5 years ago, would this have worked? I'd have been like, no. But because I'm living in it and everyone understands each other, they know their roles and everyone knows what it is, there's harmony. But the problem is when people don't know their roles. And also, as you said, the Bible, society, there's so many things that people use to kind of G-check us and make us believe this is wrong, that's wrong. Because I guarantee you, a lot of men would love to be in monogamous relationships, but they know a parent won't like it. Or
polygamous or monogamous.
Polygamous, sorry. My parents might not like it. People might view me as a bit of a sleaze bag. Do you know what? Let me just be monogamous, but then cheat. What's the point? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff, even the whole religion thing, people will be like, I can't be an atheist because if I don't really believe in God, but if I let people know that, it might look a bit mad. My family might judge me. Like, there's a lot of things that make people believe that I've got to do this just to keep up appearances or just to do this.
Yeah, I think outside of appearances, I feel like people that can do it versus people that, I feel like people that can survive in situations like that are the exception and not the rule. I feel like, I personally feel like most people couldn't survive or couldn't maintain situations like that long term.
What about people that, for example, in the Far East that have that setup? They're fine.
What's to say they're fine? It depends on what the measure is.
No, that's my point. But what's to say they're not fine? That's my point.
No, I'm not saying they are not. I'm just saying, what's the measure? Because you're saying they're fine. But
in terms of the Far East, in terms of the demographic and the figures of prison and the figures of all this fatherless homes or this or that, they ain't going on over there like that. In terms of this whole prison system, in terms of there being issues with homes, they don't have any issues over there.
So the society is in disarray.
No, it's not in disarray. So, and they've got households where there's multiple women and multiple mothers.
And they have, a whole host of other laws that keep everyone in check.
But that's my
point. It's not just that.
But that's my point, Keith. That's what I'm trying to say to you, that the way we're making it seem as though is just like, that's what I'm saying, it's society and what society makes you believe is correct. Because over here, monogamy is pushed in terms of, over there, polyandry is pushed. And there's both vices on either side in terms of problems that the societies have, but
polygamy
and monogamy over there, there's it just depends on where you are. Because over there, it's pushed that. Ain't you seen the clip where the guy's cracking up at the reporter? He's like, how many wives you got? He's got one. My man's busting up. Hey, look, it's like he's got one wife. They're busting up because they've got bare wives. But over there, they live it. The wives, when they show the pictures, all the wives are happy. The kids are smiling.
It's
everyone's
a picture,
happy.
Bro.
No, it's a video. No, the video is that everyone's happy. But that's what I'm saying. You never know. But over here, you've got one wife. I mean, you've got monogamous relationships. 80% of divorces. 50% of weddings. 50% of marriages end in divorce.
But if you go to countries where divorce isn't, promoted, if you think about it.
That's you get my point, Brent. I'm saying it's the society we live in that are pushing this whole thing.
I'm not saying people are unhappy, but I'm saying your example is a little bit flawed because you use the example of, divorce and stuff. We live in a society where people can divorce and so on and so on. If you went back a couple of years where divorce was frowned upon, less people, where you could probably go back as far as where divorce wasn't even a thing. But all I'm saying is, I find that, you know what I mean, in the current society that we live in, or just how we live as people right now, most people cannot, you know, function in a relationship that is not monogamous. You know, most people can barely handle a relationship that is monogamous. So now when you throw other people into the mix, essentially, it'll all go pear-shaped. But I feel like for the society that we live in, monogamy is probably the best way.
I think that's a fair point. You said the society we live in. That's the key point. That's all I was trying to say. Because the way you made it sound is like...
But even I think over time, I think that's what's kind of... Even if you go back to, you know what I mean, Roman times where, you know what I mean, it was just debauchery and stuff like that. What happened to those societies, Brent? Down the toilet, essentially.
Apparently, they said that Rome's still here. It's just the Vatican, bro. Like, Rome never left.
But I'm saying in the way that it...
Rome never fell. It just turned into the Pope and Vatican City, and they just kept it moving. Rome never fell.
Yeah.
Because Vatican City is its own thing. There's money there, there's thingy. I had to find this clip about the guy speaking about divorce. Because and the way he it's sick because he says, in terms of marriage, they've made you believe in the West that marriage is a good thing. I need to find this video. And it's sick because the problem here with marriage is, because Jordan Peterson was saying, a lot of people believe, let me find the Jordan Peterson clip. One sec. Where's this marriage clip? Yeah.
You have that awkward conversation while you have this abundance of affection for each other. I mean, when I negotiate prenups, it's the easiest thing in the world in a sense because these two people really like each other. You know, they're about to get married. So they're clearly not trying to kill each other. At that point, they clearly like each other. So you just say, hey, listen, go home, talk to your fiance about X, Y, and Z and see what they think. And tell them what your concern is. And very often people will come back and say to me, I mean, I have to tell you, I've been doing this now, over 20 years. I do a lot of prenups. I do maybe 5-6 prenups a month. Sometimes during like pre-wedding season, which is the fall and before the summer, I'll do 10, 15 a month. The people who say to me, oh, well, I don't want to have that conversation. They get the prenup and within 3-4 years, they're divorced. Sometimes 5 years and then 7 years, but they're the ones who get divorced. They have no business getting married. Like the ones who have the discussion and figure out well, I'm worried because if you keep the place, yeah, you're right. Okay, so what if I give you this amount of money and it's this much for each year? Okay, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it that way. Those people, they'll probably never put the prenup in a safe someplace. You'll never look at it probably.
Good communication solves the problem.
Yeah, because they're able to talk to each other and they're able to talk about hard things. How are you going to be married to someone, have children with someone, and you can't talk about hard things? Why wouldn't you have?
Yeah, so it's not that one. It's another one where he was talking about the marriage breakdown. And he was just basically saying marriage is, this is it.
If you break it down fundamentally, 56% of marriages end in divorce. Like think about, that's the ones that end in divorce. So how many people, what percentage stay together for the kids? Or because they don't want to give away half their shit? Another 10%? That's conservative.
Conservative.
But let's say 20% then, okay?
That's at least right.
You now have a technology that fails 76% of the time. That's insane. That's insane. That's more likely than not. 76%. If I told you there's a 76% chance when you walk out the door today, you're going to get hit in the head with a bowling ball, you would not go out or you'd wear a helmet for sure. But people just continue to get married. Not only do they continue to get married, there's a presumption that you should get married. And if you don't get married, there's something wrong with you. So if you've got a girlfriend and you've been with her for 5 years and you say to someone, we're getting married, they go, oh, that's great. They don't go, why? You're happy. Why would you get married? Like everything's going fine. Why would you put yourself through that? Why would you run that risk? If you say to someone, we've been together 5 years and we've decided we're not going to get married. We're going to move in together, but we're not going to get married. Ooh, what's wrong? You have intimacy issues? What's your problem? Meanwhile, 56% end in divorce. It's literally fits the legal definition of negligence. It's a negligent behavior. The way you define negligence in law school is when what you lose by not doing something, okay, is lower then the risk of harm, it's what's called a BPL analysis. So the burden of not doing a thing is lower than the likelihood, the probability of harm. So BPL, so burden, probability, and loss. Marriage is an inherently negligent activity. It's like owning a lion. Like the likelihood of someone getting hurt seriously by this is very, very high. No one ever says it to you. Because why? Because, I would say something, I've been doing this for over 20 years and I still get misty-eyed at weddings. Like I still really, there's something in me that goes like, maybe it'll work out for these two.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm just saying to you, society does this thing where like, it's pushed. I'm not saying weddings are bad or marriages are bad. I'm just saying that there's this notion that like it has to be this way for it to work. I don't think it has to be.
I think that was less of a question on monogamy and more of a question on marriage.
Okay.
So he didn't question monogamy essentially.
Yeah, but eventually if you're monogamous with someone, you're going to get married. In terms of our society, that's another thing.
No, that's a totally different. You could be monogamous and never get married.
Yeah, but most people get married, especially within, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but if we were to speak about that, we would be arguing something totally different about the validity of marriage.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say to you in terms of, my point was always about society and societal norms that create these things that we should do or reasons why we believe things will work. That's all I'm saying. So, whereas...
100%. I totally get what you're saying, but for me, I think what my situation was based on is, again, things like, STDs, and there's so many different variables within that situation. And in a lot of these situations, being with multiple people, sometimes work when there are no children involved. Now you're in a situation with 3 people with 3 different children, and those, people want to live life differently. And sometimes what people agree on before, or let's even throw marriage out of it, where we have 3 people in a relationship together. Though what people want before certain things happen, we were great when it was just us 3. Now there's a kid involved. Now what I want has changed. Now how I see the situation, has changed with these multiple people. I now want, more of this person than I did before we had a kid. I want, more stability, more this. I want you to focus on my kids. The other person wants you to focus on their kids. There's so many different variables when you throw multiple people into one relationship, essentially.
And also I feel like things have changed in terms of monogamy and in terms of marriages and in terms of whatever, because the sole purpose of a marriage is not just for love. It's for a stable environment for your children. It's for you to build together, whatever. But a lot of people are just on this love thing. And then when the love, because remember, when you marry someone or you're with someone, you're not going to like them sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's marriage. Like, you're fucking annoying me today, but doesn't mean I'm going to leave.
But yeah, when you throw multiple people in there.
Some people are just like, nah, fuck this marriage. It's not giving me the feeling that I want. You're gone. What? But it's, to death to us parts. Like, see what I'm saying?
But like I said, maybe for me, speaking for myself, I can, hand on my heart, say I do not have the bandwidth to be with multiple people. Even in my life when I've just been dealing with, or even if I'm speaking to more than one woman, for me, I will always feel it. I find like when you have a finite amount of, let's say you have 100 attention, Brent, and I'm giving 70% or 70 of my attention to someone. The other person's only getting 30.
You got to give 10-10.
You know what I mean? But literally but I can honestly say I do not have the capacity to fairly split my bandwidth between people. Some people, maybe there are people that can do it. I genuinely know myself as a person. I do not. And that's why over time, I've fallen out with women where I'd be speaking to a woman, we're talking and this has happened. And as time goes by, that attention starts to wane because, I'm putting more attention somewhere else. That's just who I am. So and just based off that, I know I do not have the capacity to say I am dating, 2 women, whether they know about themselves or each other or whether they both live in my house. I know myself as a person that will shift. You know, I would rather focus, and I think for me, this is now me speaking for, you know what I mean, myself essentially. I would rather focus on one person because I genuinely believe that is the best way for me to
live. But what do you say as age though? Because as you're getting older, you have less tolerance, you have less energy, you have less time, you have less, so many things you have
even
less
when I
of.
was younger, I just didn't have the, you know what I mean? I've spoken to a lot of women, but it would go from one woman to another woman to another woman to another woman. But there was never a time where I can hand on my heart and say I could equally give them all attention and speak to them all the same way.
But that's my point though. The women, they were never equal.
Even if they were, I just don't have the capacity to do that.
I'm just saying, because for example, even a girl, there might be a girl who is dating all three of us, for example, or seeing all three of us in some capacity. She doesn't see us equally.
You could give me three for context, just to give you a clearer example.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, for example, she might use Brent. Brent might have the money, so she might use Brent for lifestyle. Keith might give the best penis, so she might use Keith for sex. Then I might just be the pillow talk guy. Like, she likes all three of us, but it's different entities. So I'm saying, I get what you're saying, but...
Or she might be someone who has maybe she has the bandwidth to communicate with, you know,
yeah, but it's not
three people.
Yeah, but it's not a bandwidth though, because if she's talking to me, but she's using other people for other things, it's not... I get what you're saying, but I feel like you're looking at it like you're going to treat everyone, or you're looking to, or you are treating everyone the same. Not everyone gets treated the same. Certain man just ring girls up. You're up at 4. After the rave, where you at, babe? I'm coming to your house.
No, bro.
Girl didn't have to beat. Apart from that, they didn't talk to her again. There's another girl that they speak to in the week. They go out with.
I'm talking about three different women. I want the exact same thing from, let's say, you know what I mean, we're talking and we're just fucking, or if it's just sex, essentially. I do not have the bandwidth to entertain them, you know what I mean? And I feel like with people, there's a level of care that is necessary. I do not have it within me to provide that level of care to more than one person. That's what, bro, you could give me 3 of the same exact person, you know what I mean? And they have the exact, like I'm saying, it's the exact same person 3 times, and I still would not be able, you know what I mean, to cater to those people in the same way, because that's the exact same person. It's just that, you know what I mean, for me, my focus will be on one person at one point, maybe another person at one, you know what I mean? It's never an equal thingy.
Do you know what it is? I feel like that's I don't know, maybe I might be going off here, but I just feel like in life sometimes not everyone gets treated the same. Like, that's just how it goes. And that's why I just don't take shit personally.
Are you saying that you can service 3 of these women?
No.
You can give them attention that they desire times 3.
But that's different though, because the attention they desire is different to what you want to give.
And he's saying he can't give what they would want from him.
No, he's saying he can't give it. I don't know if he's saying he can't give what
in my head, he's also factoring in what they would need.
I don't know what
each of their needs.
I'm just saying.
Hence the multiple women.
Keith's just saying, what I have from Keith is that if I like 3 women exactly the same way, I can't give them my full energy.
There's a certain level of care that is necessary to, you know what I mean, sustain each and every person. And I, you know what I mean, for me as one person, I couldn't give that to 3 people.
But even as it could be one babe you can't give it to.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying.
Because what she desires from you might be...
One is even difficult for him sometimes. Because
you know, let alone 3. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like...
What about 4?
The majority. But I couldn't even do 2.
No, I hear that. Yeah, I hear that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you know, that's what it is for a lot of people. And I feel like a lot of men genuinely believe they can. But when you kind of get into that situation, it becomes more difficult. The reality is not as pretty as, you know...
I just think
the desire.
I just think it depends on what capacity you have for these people. That's what I think it is. Because same way in a week, for example,
they will still need to abide by that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because in a week you can go to the gym 4 times, you can play football once, and play tennis once.
Yeah, but if you're,
do you know what I'm saying? You still like all 3 activities. You just care about gym more. That's all it is, really. Like, it just depends on how you see it.
Yeah, but
if you want to get better at tennis, do it more times a week. If you want to get better at
but if you're married, you know, these are things you have to do.
No. I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying.
If you're with these women, you have to do in equal measure.
Yeah, no, but I think it depends. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it depends.
And I feel like that's why it's dangerous for just anybody to get into, you know, polyamorous relationships, essentially, because I feel like a lot of people do not think about what goes into those situations. And, you know,
but I think
it hurts people.
I think it's the same for monogamy as well. Like, and not anyone getting to
No,
monogamy
100%.
either.
No,
Like, I feel like
100%.
relationships in general, even when Stephen Speaks was on here and Bobby Price, like, a lot of people believe that they can get into relationships and they believe that they're ready for it. A lot of the time, they're not ready for it.
Yeah, and that's
Whether
why that's just one person. Now imagine getting into a situation like with three people.
I hear that, but imagine you as a person, if you know yourself and you know your triggers, you know your love languages, you know everything about yourself. Now you can navigate a lot better than someone who doesn't know anything about themselves. And if I'm dealing with someone who's the same as me, we're on the same page. But a lot of the time people link up and it's for the wrong reasons. As in, I just like the look of you, you just like the look of me, or I'm tolerating you because you're nice, but really, or we're not really compatible. It's a problem. So I'm saying a lot of the time with people, when you understand yourself, when you understand what you like, what you don't like, your boundaries, your this, your that, and you meet someone that respects your boundaries, that has a similar mindset, it's great. When you don't have a similar mindset, no matter what you're doing is an issue. Because a lot of people don't know their triggers. A lot of people don't know. Like, for example, I could be talking to you, Brent, and I'm pissed at you, and the reason is me, but I'm not aware of that. But I'm just pissed with you. We're not going to get on. Because in your mind, you're going to be thinking, what's wrong with Marvin? And I'm like, what's wrong with Brent? And really and truly, I need to address something. Whereas if people relationships are addressed that or know themselves, they won't have those issues. Because I would say something to you and I'll be like, you know what? Brent, one sec, give me a minute. And I'll be able to pull it back in and be like, Marv, man, you're doing it again. Or this is me. Or Brent, you know what? I'm sorry, it was me, you know. But if I don't do that, it's a completely different relationship. So I'm saying in terms of whether it's polyandry, monogamy, if you don't know yourself, any of those relationships are not going to work. 1 wife, 10 wives, 4 wives, it's not going to work.
No, that's facts. You know what I mean? That's definitely a different viral, but that's definitely a different, you know what I mean, something. But I genuinely believe, you know, when there's multiple people, for the majority of people, it is a struggle. You know what I mean? That's definitely something I believe, you know, that for, you know, multiple people is something that most people would struggle to deal with, essentially. And I feel like with a lot of men, even just dealing with multiple women now, a lot of people hurt people because they believe that's something that they can do. And they just, you know, just burn through people. And, you know, growing up, seeing things, I've been there, you know, where you've convinced yourself you can maintain multiple relationships with people, but the reality is very different. And then you end up in a lot of situations where you do damage to other people.
That American sprinter, Sha'Carri.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
She's murdering it. She's been, for the last 2 months, she's been badding it up over there.
Mehdi could not wait to tag me from when we had him on. We were
did he tag you?
He could not.
Yeah,
wait.
But that's not the same thing. It's too late now. That's
you know, he could.
The statute of limitation, whatever they call it, is gone, bro. That's too long.
They cooked her the last time when we were talking about.
Remember, we didn't say she wasn't good. We just said be humble. Like, you've won a race, sick, but be humble. It's only one race. Like, just like build. Do you know what I'm saying? But the funny thing is, what we said is true because she's gone back to the drawing board. She's been training. She's got better. That's what we were saying. Just concentrate. But to be fair, Shirley Ann's getting old as well. It's not going to be the same, bro. Like, there's always a change of guard. It always happens to all the best sprinters. Like,
I think, you know, we actually said that as well, where Maddie was like, she will eventually beat the Vera, and I was like, yeah, but they get older.
Yeah. But what I did like was the fact that they were bigging up each other at the end.
Yeah.
Like, even though Sha'Carri did win, they had a conversation. You can see like them
because basically,
laughing.
I think what they said was like, you know, the last time the US had a medal, and she was like, because of you.
Yeah, because you keep winning. The last one, 2017, was the last US medal.
Yeah, she was like, you lot
6
have been
years.
hogging them. You know, Usain's back to, you know, they're like, Usain's going to go back to work after that lady robbed him.
Oh, serious?
She stole 10 million, innit?
Bro, do you see when she got to court and she was in the wheelchair? bare fragile. Like you were fragile when you were spending his money, were you? She was in the wheelchair, Marvin, looking all frail. And I was like, look at you. But yeah, no, it threw him off. He was vexed.
He needs to work.
He did say himself that, you know, he's like, listen, I'm not broke, but I'm not where I would like to be after the situation I had. He's like, just the reality.
But you think he can get money quick though. He just needs to align himself with something. He can get money. Because he's the fastest man in the world, bro.
But I think for him, he wanted to, when you've worked hard.
He just want to bow out. Yeah, you could see he was just like a very chilled guy. He just wanted to bow out.
You know, you're like, I don't want to do adverts. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do all of these things that, if he was going to do all of those things, that would have just been extra money.
But he does do quite a lot though.
Yeah, but now he has to do more.
Because I see him, he's always on Soccer Aid. He's always on adverts like for Visa, music videos. He's always like you always see you saying somewhere, man. Stormzy video.
The appearances, yeah.
Yeah, he loves it.
So now he's got to do a bit more.
Has to.
To balance that out. Because you lose a big chunk of your money.
10 million. I thought we'd have had more than that though.
It probably does, but 10 mil is a lot of money.
No, 100% it is a lot of money, but in my mind, I'm thinking the way you saying was like a sponsorship would have brought in about a 5 mil. Like just with like Puma or something, or remember, you're forgetting, this is not like, remember when Dwayne Chambers was on here? He was like, after Beckham, he was the highest paid Adidas athlete.
Yeah. Then agent fees come in,
and
taxes.
Obviously, no offense to Dwayne Chambers, he's not Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt was the fastest man in the world for 12 years. He won 3 Olympics in a row, innit? From 2012. I think he done 3 Olympics. And I think he done 100 meters, 100 meters, 100 meters, 200, 200, 200, and relays. This brother was, like, in terms of, and remember, that point in time it was Jamaica's golden era of like Powell, him, what's the other guy's name? The one with the hench one with the big shoulders and the plaits. What's his name again, man? And he was mad quick.
But I feel like with athletics, I also feel like it's a little bit different to... I feel like if you look at Usain, he had a lot of brand deals, but he wasn't like let's say, I'll use Michael Jordan because of, brand.
Yeah, that's it, Blake.
Johan Blake.
Yeah.
I feel like, if Usain was like, Usain had these trainers, he had this brand, he had this, and this. If you look at Usain, he's one of those artists where you're like, he actually didn't have anything.
No, he didn't have his own trainer. I get all that. But what I'm trying to say to you in terms of, like, when you look at, for example, what's her name? The tennis player, is it?
Serena?
No. The Chinesey one that came out of nowhere.
The young thing?
Yeah.
I forgot her name. But
like,
I know
she was earning silly money, but she didn't have a trainer or she didn't have anything. It's just a case of...
But here's the thing, and this is crazy because if you listen to the Nike thing I was going to tell you about, 3 sports, that make the, most money for the people that participate in them is basketball, tennis, and
Formula One.
No, running. But running is of the 3 is on the lower end.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. But of the 3, he was one of the biggest of that 3.
Exactly.
Because remember,
it just depends on what else you do while you're in that space.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's where it becomes a little bit difficult. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm talking about 10. I'm not going on like 10 million is low, but I just thought him. When I
not to say it's low, but when you compare it to, let's say, like
a Federer or someone like that, or Nadal, or I know them.
That's a whole different.
Lewis Hamilton, or
it's a whole different. You know what I mean? Other realm. So when you look at, if you look at athletics,
it's mad though.
Think of how many athletes.
He should have got his own trainer.
But think of how many. Like if you think of runners, right? Runners. How many runners can you say that person went to the next level financially? Where you're like, go on.
The only thing is, I don't know how. I don't know how it works for athletes like that. I don't know how their purse works, but I can speak about runners like what's my man that sang the national anthem? Bad, the American dude.
It said Usain Bolt is the richest sprinter in the world. His net worth is 90 million.
90.
dollars, yeah.
Oh, so that means maybe he's got like assets
Most of them
and stuff.
from brand deals and other endorsements.
Yeah, because brother, there was a point in time where Usain was everywhere. I remember like any visa advert, any this advert. I remember as well, you're forgetting when you go on holiday and you turn the TV on, you see different adverts. You don't see the same adverts here. Like even when I used to do sports modeling before, yeah, there'll be a point in time where you will do an advert and you will sign a contract that says they're allowed to use it in Asia, they're allowed to use it in this place, or they'll have like an advert for Nigerian supermodel and it's only going to be shown in Nigeria. It won't be shown nowhere else. So you sign it for that. So I'm saying, Usain must have had so many adverts that were in places that we wouldn't have seen. So in my mind, I was thinking, like, but I do get the argument. He should have definitely had a trainer though.
There's just different things.
But maybe there wasn't even a running trainer. But who buy?
Yeah, he should have. But he had that ambassador deal with Puma, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was Puma sponsored by the Jamaican team was sponsored by Puma as well.
Okay.
But I guess it then depends on, you know what I mean, what the back end of the deal looks like essentially.
And also when you sign it, because you might have signed at the beginning of Usain Bolt. He wasn't the same guy 4 years later. But if you've already signed that deal, I'm not.
You should have signed with Under Armour. Because look at Steph
Curry.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't tell you anyone I see in Under Armour kicks. But their deal is...
Yeah, but they deal more with...
American football.
No, apparel.
Yeah, apparel. They do a lot of American football stuff.
And in America, and that's again, America's a different animal. Because when you go to America, white Americans are wearing Under Armour trainers. It's just not within our culture. We're not wearing it. Anthony Joshua's sponsored by Under Armour. Even Harry Kane's wearing Skechers now. You know, Skechers boots. He's signed. He's the first person to be signed.
There's something I want to show you. I forgot what the name of it.
What's that? Are we or do you want to? I don't mind, to be honest. But do you know that, I don't know if you saw The Athletic, Manchester United were actually going to keep him.
Yeah.
You hear about that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mason Greenwood. Man United were going to keep him.
Oh, yeah, and then literally people kicked up a fuss and then...
No, I need to find I need to find the report, man. In The Athletic, they were speaking about it and they actually said that Man United were going to bring him back in. And then they started to have a lot of the staff and the higher-ups were saying that if you bring him back, we're going to actually quit.
Because there's something that they use to measure.
Yeah. And they measured and then it was just, they said, you know what, this makes no sense. But it makes sense for him to leave anyway because there's no way you can come out of Old Trafford because rival fans... And I know a lot of Man United fans that were saying he can't play for my club again. It wasn't a case of like Man United fans were cool with it. Like everyone was like. But my only thing is, how far do we take something if the person in question has forgiven the person?
But
do you know what I'm saying?
Given that it's the brand.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about in terms of forget the brand of the club in terms of society in general now. How we see Mason Greenwood. Because at the end of the day, if Mason Greenwood done what he done and he got found guilty, for example, and the girlfriend was like, he's a piece of shit, what he thought he done for me, I hope he burns in hell, whatever, then objectively, what everyone's saying is like, yeah, because he's been found guilty and also the person in question that he's wronged is upset and whatever, but the person in question has said it wasn't that. I don't know if she's lying or not, we don't know. Person in question said it's not like that. They've now had a baby. They're still together. So it's like, how angry are we still going to be for this situation that they don't care? They don't even care about because they're still together.
I believe they don't even care about their relationship though.
You think it's a money thing? Or what?
No, I don't think that everybody that you're speaking to care about their relationship.
They care about the act.
In relation to
what it was
club.
done. Oh no,
they don't care about the relationship.
No, I'm talking about...
They don't care about the psyche of the girl, this, that, and that. Don't care about none of that. It's in relation to Man United. Yeah.
No, but I'm talking... Forget Man United because there's a lot of people that don't care about football.
To say... So, it's hard to divorce it because nobody cares about the relationship outside of him being this product of Man United. So, it's hard to divorce it from that. Because they don't care about the relationship.
No,
If he was just a random person and this was happening, nobody would care.
So their care is married to the fact
100%.
that he's...
So it's hard to divorce it.
Yeah. So he's this Man United person. So literally it's all tied together and a lot of people cannot remove.
No, but I get what you're saying, but I feel like there's a lot of girls, for example, that don't give a shit about football. They don't care he plays for Man United. They're disgusted by what they've heard, what they've seen in the press, and they hate him as a person. They think he's disgusting.
They don't want him to win and continue to get money because of what he did, but it's because he is connected to Man United. If he wasn't connected to Man United, they wouldn't give a crap.
No, I think they would still. It'll just be a different care. Because it'll still be a guy who's assaulted a woman. So to them, he'll still be a piece of shit. And they would hate him. But it might just be a case of they would want him maybe locked up or justice to be served in their eyes. Whereas there's some people that obviously don't need to play for Man United again, whatever. But I think it's because of the tape, what was leaked, the pictures everyone saw, whatever. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say when we were talking about trainers, you know the Nike, the Air Monarch, you know the dad shoes. You know the dad Nikes. It's crazy because it's a
Who wears them?
it's a dad shoe.
Oh, there's bare people that wear them now though.
Bro,
Like
it's one of the highest selling Nikes of all time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
people.
it's comfortable.
No, it's
Yeah, I have a pair of them.
It's that new look now. You know, like New Balance, that kind of old.
I had these a couple years ago. Remember outside and Yusuf was like, "What are those?" This is a couple years ago.
Kind of ish. Around the time of the episode, we were laughing at Yusuf going to Dubai and that.
I don't know if it was even around that time. It was just we were outside and I was bantering, man. I was like, bro, where were I like? But I remember it was the Monarchs.
Yeah. I think the Mason Greenwood thing's interesting in terms of where it sits in society. Because how do you view it? Is it one of those things where you'd be like, it's nothing to do with me, it's not my business, I don't care? Or is it, this is a disgusting act, something needs to be done? Because if the police have said there's no charge, but with our own eyes, we've seen the videos we've heard the tapes, the recordings, it's like, because you don't charge him doesn't mean he's not guilty.
I think those two things that
you know
you
what I'm saying?
said, I think those two things that you just said can coexist, where I can say that, what he's done is absolutely disgusting. But I can also say it's none of my business because they choose to be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can definitely look at that and think this is definitely wild.
So then if we can both think that, then why can't he play for Man United again?
I can also say, although she doesn't care and she's cool with it, I just don't want him playing on the team I support.
Okay, cool.
As a person, I can say I don't want him associated with anything that I support because I now then have to see this person on TV all the time. And every single time I see him, I will think of,
So shouldn't he be allowed to play football again? Because every club he plays for, people feel like that, no?
I just don't think he can play in the UK or in, kind of football as we know it mainstream. Saudi's hiring.
True, still.
He needs to go collect his money in Saudi because it's not going to happen for him here.
They're trying to rebrand though.
Who?
Saudi. They want to be seen as an upstanding institution.
So you're saying that might not gel with the sports
100%.
washing?
And remember, they don't agree with that kind of stuff.
You're saying that's not in the sports washing handbook. They're like, no. There's a chapter 8 says, don't do that.
You say that, but I don't know. I get what you're saying there, Brent. I don't know. I think they could. The only places I can see him going is like Turkey. Someone like Turkey or... Yeah, that's the only country I can really see him playing for. Turkey or like a French team. But apart from that...
Are you saying like Benjamin Mendy?
Yeah,
Maybe he went back to France.
Yeah. He went to a small team. He said it. He said that he had offers for big clubs in Europe, but he said he did anxiety or something like that.
He's not ready to deal with it because that's not going away.
So he wants to go to a smaller club.
They didn't receive him well at all. They had like placards and stuff.
In Rennes?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Serious?
Wherever he went, yeah.
Oh, raw.
Mm-hmm.
So now imagine that on a grander scale.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, especially being here, he knows what the tabloids are like over here. They, distress. It's one thing having fans doing whatever because they're going to always do that. But then to deal with the British media as well, on top of, that, what's it called? the Vince McMahon meme. It's not even a meme, it's just a clip that they clipped where he's like, come out here, you fucking rapist.
Oh, yeah.
You see that?
Yeah,
That's exactly how the media would treat him.
But my thing is, can they treat him like that? Because he's...
You think you can have rape accusations and allegations and miss a goal?
No, I hear what you're saying, but like it was found not guilty. So my thing is, there's only so much the press can do, or they'll get sued.
If you miss a goal, you're guilty.
You can maybe say accused,
and that's exactly what they'll say. You know what I mean? Accused rapist.
Yeah,
misses goal. You know how it is in these papers, Marvin. That's literally it. Even with the fans, the
chance that they'll make would be mad. Yeah.
So you can't, you can't live with that.
He's suing Man City though.
Is he? Off
for lack of earnings, because they didn't. After a while, they stopped paying him.
Yeah, but
because remember he said he was innocent. So, but one of I know that there was a group chat. Have you heard about that?
Yo, with the girls.
Where they googled his net worth.
Yeah, and they were just sending it about. So there was. I think there was large parts we don't know. What that story looks like, and but it was definitely little things that kind of popped up after.
Do you know what's mad? I had a conversation with someone the other day about that, and I said that. Someone I can't remember how we were speaking about it, and then the lady said to me, "Yeah, but these footballers need to stop fucking around with these table whores. Like, what do you expect?" And I said, "The only issue with that is it's a kind of victim blaming. Because at the end of the day, yeah, the footballers should be more mindful of the girls they're around, but at the same time, doesn't excuse anyone."
Doing
fuckery or making up stuff, because if they have done something, let them be tried, let them be found guilty, let them be whatever. If they haven't, you're making up something and destroying someone's life. It's just like someone saying girls shouldn't wear certain things. If you wear this, then guys are going to bother you. Yeah, I get it. If you
hang out with this type of guy, this will happen to you. You're like, no, that's a terrible way to look at it.
Yeah, so we should never look at it like that. But for some reason, sometimes people look at things like that. I'm like, you shouldn't. Like, yes, two things can be right. That, yeah, they should be more mindful of the girls they're dealing with. But at the same time, if you're making up something, and I said to this lady, that the issue with, if a girl does make that up, you're only hurting more women though. Because there's going to be women who actually have been abused, but now because you've been found to be lying, or you've found for your story to be a bit funny, that now maybe people might hear a story similar that maybe has been done to these girls and be like, yeah, but because of that story, it's probably not true. Just because you wanted to do a money grab. That's my only thing, innit? But I don't know, man. The world's a bit off right now still. It's been off for a while.
Trust me. Brent's Nephilims are moving wild out.
Who's that? The angel stuff?
No, that's the Giants, man. Nephilims are the Giants.
Oh, that is bloody hilarious. But yeah, man, I need to go catch the train, bro.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Very much so you need to flip and catch a train.
Mm-hmm. Literally the last one, innit?
I was supposed to start the podcast with this. I woke up and my neck's fucked. Yeah, my neck was literally like, I can't move my neck properly. I don't know what I've done to it, but like, I think it's a spasm or something, so I can't move my neck. I couldn't sleep last night. So I went to a Chinese massage place. So I was talking to Margs on the phone, and Margs is like, yeah, don't get a happy ending or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm going to go to a proper Chinese thing. Anyway, I go there, the woman massages me. Towards the end of the massage, she whispers in my ear, do you want a happy ending? I said, what? I said, nah, man, I'm all right, man. Margs messaged me saying...
Where's this place so I can report it?
Lewisham still.
Oh, fuck it.
Margs messaged me saying, I'm going to play his voice note, bruv.
You know he would have indulged.
Yeah, Margs said he would have indulged still.
You know Margs would have indulged. He's a fucking degenerate.
I knew it, them little on the street corner. From when you said you couldn't find it, I said, yeah. £50 for the hour, though. How much did they want for the happy ending? Just an extra score 5. 70 quid's a good going for a massage. I might have took it. Was it on a hand flow or a neck flow? I might have done it, 75. Where is this spot? What was the massage saying?
Bro, no word of a lie, bro. She got close, like. Mel was just in boxes getting the massage. She said, the massage finished, and she came close to my ear. You want happy ending? I said, nah, man. Nah, move, man. Nah, man. Nah, she said, okay. And she kind of like ran off. She kind of got out of there.
So you sure you did?
Nah, the massage was calm, but...
Man said I'm a sicko. Firstly, I didn't know she was old. You gave me that information after the fact. You get me? But you're missing the point. Was it actually a good massage? Like, okay, would you double black? Would you go there again? Because that'll be the telling thing. Would you use her again? Yes or no?
But listen, that was mad, bruv.
You would have gone for it.
No. But I looked at the woman, I was like, bro, are you serious? My dick would even get up, bro.
You would have got it.
No. She was buff though. I still wouldn't have done it. But apparently it's supposed to be good to do that after a massage anyway, because your blood's flowing around the body.
You what?
To get a happy ending, because apparently your circulation is like, it tops off the thing. There's a guy who was on TV saying he's addicted to it.
What, happy ending?
Yeah, addicted to massaging happy endings, because after a good gym session, when you get a good rub and then you have a happy ending, he said there's no feeling like it.
You sound like a fucking degenerate.
All right, well, people, that was an episode. That was a different one. Still. That Free Shot episode is like no episode they've had for ages. The alien is viable. Monogamy, polyandry.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, there was, Brent's Nephilims.
Mm-hmm.
Them ones there, yeah.
Oh, for your playing son.
No. Brent's Nephilims. But yeah, man, shout out everyone. I have to go get my last train home in a minute. So, shout out you lot.
Love for everyone that came to the live show. Appreciate you all. If you can, subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Twitter, follow us private accounts or individual accounts, and have a great weekend. Oh shit, it's Carnival this weekend, isn't it? Whatever you do, be safe. You going Carnival, Brett? You're not going Carnival?
I am not.
Okay. Have you ever been?
I have not.
Serious?
Serious.
That's crazy.
It's not.
No, but you're West Indian though. No, I just wanted to just get your nerves.
No, you can't.
But you should have been once though.
I'll go one day.
No, just to see it. Like, not like because you're West Indian, as in just to experience it.
I will
but
go
now,
one day.
I can't lie to you, shit now, Brent. Like, you missed it.
I doubt I have.
You've missed it. So it's not the same anymore. When I went last year, garbage. Couldn't believe it. I'm like, this has gone to shit.
Mm.
It's rubbish. They've locked off loads of the roads. Back in the day, Carnival used to finish at about 10, 11. Like, there was points in time where you missed the last train because you're partying so much or you're enjoying the atmosphere. Now, Carnival shuts up at 7 p.m. Garbage. And then all the side roads, they lock it off because they don't want people going down there and there to be trouble. So it's like a bottleneck. Once you're in the Carnival, you're in it. So if I want to get all the way down there, I've got to be with everyone and just show that it's garbage.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Because first timers, I'm sure they wouldn't think it's crap. You're comparing it to the great old days.
Fair enough.
But you're still going to go.
Now, Lance said he might perform.
On a float?
At a stage. I don't know which one it is.
Okay.
So if he does, but I can't lie to you, I don't think I'll go to Carnival. And apparently it might rain this weekend as well.
Mm.
Yeah, garbage. If it was hot, but I don't think I'm going to go now. I'm all right. I'll maybe go out to some raves or something. I'll do some stuff over the weekend, but apart from that, no. All right, people, safe. Brent, appreciate coming on the episode, man.
You're welcome.
Grace us for your presence. You're always welcome.
Thank you.